Now, there's another part of communication which I think is very important to explore. We're anxious, we're frustrated, we're upset about something, and we think we're being advocates, and this is what we really want to do, but you really have to watch that you're not becoming adversarial, because it's a very fine line. And people will sometimes say, well, I didn't mean to upset anybody. How did I upset them? And they're telling me that I'm coming across in a negative manner. Well, if you get very adversarial, it may be perceived by the receiver, who may be a professional, but they may be perceived that you are criticizing them and you are questioning their whole focus of plan or treatment plan they have for you. And then they may get defensive. And so that's not a very positive way of interacting. So if you're getting very strong in your communication and getting very forceful, as I discussed yesterday with a female patient here, I said just watch your voice tone and your body language. If you feel that you're getting a little bit off the rails, just think about how your behavior might be perceived by the other person receiving it. And if you can step back and look from the other side of the box and view that communication from the other side, you have a very wonderful skill set. But try not to get too adversarial, because then as an advocate, you can be perceived by the person that's a professional caregiver as, oh goodness, here she comes again, sort of thing. So just watch that. It's hard to keep emotion out of communication. That is very difficult to do, and especially if you're the cancer patient, because after all, it's your life and your health that's at stake here. So when we're wanting healthcare professionals, get on board with us. Remember, build bridges, not walls. Advocates find a way to build bridges. Adversaries build walls. And once there is a wall built, it is nearly impossible to break it down. That's all I wanted to say about communication. I want to have some time to address a second opinion. Often patients say to me, I want a second opinion. And I say, are you aware that you've probably had 4 to 6 oncologists review all that we have about you in review rounds? Now that title may vary across the country, but the function doesn't vary. If you're told you have a healthcare team, that means the healthcare team has made a decision, and there'll be 4 to 6 people in that healthcare team, but you only receive the information from one person, generally the oncologist that's been assigned to you. So if you really, truly want that second opinion, that may have to happen because of going out of province. For example, an Edmonton patient going to Calgary would probably be offered exactly the same thing as what they were getting in Edmonton. So if you want a true second opinion, if that's what you're after, you may have to go out of province, and a patient representative or an advocate can arrange that to be done so that maybe your records just need to be sent to someone in another province. They may wish to see you. It depends on their process. But that certainly is possible. I don't want to discourage anybody from saying I want a second opinion, because it truly can happen. But the other thing you must be aware of, if you are asking for a second opinion, ask the person that's organizing this for you, will this delay my treatment? And of course, that's what you need to explore for sure, because sometimes it can delay treatment. Often when someone asks me, they say, I wanted, thank you, Fran, a second opinion. it's all really about communication. So I usually address, if it's been bad news they've received, we talk about that. And there's all kinds of reasons that people have that term that they want to use, second opinion. Often it is, I can't understand what the oncologist is telling me, so it could be a trust issue. Those kind of things need to be addressed. And we will change doctors, and I'm sure other representatives across the country will say, yes, we can change your doctor. That's all I had today, Fran.
Thank you so much, Linda. Mary?
Hello, I'm Mary. It's a pleasure to participate in the teleconference today. In my official position as a client advocate for the Canadian Cancer Society, I speak with people living with cancer and their families every day. But I am also a daughter, a sister, a mother, friend, and co-worker, just like all of you. Most of the lessons that I will share with you today, I've learned the hard way. So my goal is to spare you from having to learn from a mistake. I had planned to be speaking to you today from my office in football crazy Regina, but it's a bit ironic that I am in fact sitting in my parents' home in Cambridge, Ontario, as they were both hospitalized last week, and I'm here as their advocate. Healthcare really is involving a whole team of individuals pulling together, each with the same goal. Each has an important job to do, and it's really only together that we can accomplish that goal. The person living with cancer needs to be the team captain, and all the others, the GP, the gynecologist, oncologist, the nurses, therapists, and all the technicians come into play when each of their skills is called for. This afternoon, though, I would like to really just focus on the role of friends and family on that team. We know that a diagnosis of cancer opens a whole floodgate of powerful emotions. There's always more questions than answers, and life can tend to spin right out of control. We know, though, that the support of family and friends is the single most important element in gaining back control and coping with disease. These are the people that become the team managers, the cheerleaders. They give you home field advantage. They're often referred to as caregivers or advocates, and I will be referring to both of these terms interchangeably. The advocate requires their own physical stamina as well as a blend of tactfulness, assertiveness, and persistence. Sometimes this position is taken up by the partner, the spouse, the daughter, the oldest, the youngest, the closest one, the one with the most time, or the fewest other responsibilities. The most successful caregiver, though, is the one that takes on this responsibility willingly and recognizes and accepts that the receiver truly needs their assistance, whether or not that need is verbalized. It's important to remember, too, that you can never be perfect, but you're always doing the best you can, and that's all you can do. In a large family, there may need to be several different advocates for different issues. In my case, I'm the nurse, so I deal with the medical aspects. Now, you don't need to have a medical background, but as Linda was saying, tact and persistence are helpful. Linda did address most of the communication with the medical people, but I would just like to highlight a couple of the points that she made. And important is that if you do become frustrated or what seems like an uncaring or an abruptness on the part of the medical team, again, try to remember that your goal is to help the situation and that these people are really all on your team and that being adversarial isn't help. Just try to remain positive and ask for what you can do. Also, keep in mind that doctors and medical personnel are always dealing with time constraints, and so they really appreciate having a single contact person. In my case, my sister has a hometown advantage, and she has a computer with a very large email distribution list. So she is a head communicator with the family. And by the way, she's also the transportation and food coordinator and task assigner. Lots of times little things have to be addressed, and one person coordinating that is a big help.